They've unmasked over 200 criminals together. Consider it practice. This time, the monsters are real. Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater presents Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. Tonight at 8, only on Cartoon Network.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Bryson Booker, and today I got a 90s movie review for you today. And today, I don't physically have it in my hand, and I've done this before. I don't physically have the movie in my hand, but I have seen this movie, and it's a pretty darn good movie. I had to turn myself up here. Alright, it's a pretty darn good movie. What movie am I talking about? I'm talking about a Scooby Doo movie that was released September 22nd, 1998 from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. It was originally just a direct-to-video release, but then obviously over the years it got aired on Cartoon Network and things like that. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. This movie is a great, Scooby Doo movie. Now, if you guys know me, you know my whole spiel with Scooby Doo. And if you don't, I'll just tell you a little bit. I wasn't a big fan of Scooby Doo as a kid because, channels like Cartoon Network back then and later on Boomerang just played too much of it. I mean, literally, Cartoon Network was doing constant Scooby-Doo marathons, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo marathons, What's New Scooby-Doo marathons. And then when Boomerang eventually conceived Scooby-Doo, then they started doing Scooby-Doo marathons. Boomerang used to have this thing called Boomer Royalty. And every time, literally, every 2 or 3 months, it was Scooby-Doo again. And it was insane. And the reason why I didn't like Scooby-Doo is because it was just shown so much. But now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to like Scooby-Doo. After all these years, specifically Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Obviously because that was the first one they ever did. But these Scooby-Doo movies, I'm starting to get into again. I always really liked the Scooby-Doo movie called The Monster of Mexico. That's always really been my favorite Scooby-Doo movie. But now I'm starting to watch the other ones, particularly the first three. And the very first one is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. And so I'm just going to give you a plot summary, and I'm just going to tell you my opinions about the movie. You can go check it out yourself here on YouTube. Just search it up, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. You can watch it. Or go to my favorite site, and I will put the name right in this video here, called KissCartoon.com. Go to that site, search up the movie, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. You can watch it in high quality for free. Just make sure you have a great internet connection. I'm just letting you know now. It will not work if you have a sucky or slow internet connection. But if you have a good internet connection, or you're using your mom's internet, or your grandma's internet, or if you still have AOL and it works pretty well, go online to KissCartoon.com and check out this awesome movie from Warner Brothers. So, the plot of this movie, and I got my notes here, but I probably won't need them. So, basically, the mystery gang has been on hiatus, and Daphne... is it Daphne or Velma? Daphne. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I get those two confused. Daphne, sometimes call Velma Daphne and Daphne Velma. But Daphne has her own talk show, and the rest of the Scooby gang, or the mystery gang, has split their separate ways, and Daphne wants to get them back together. Because for years, they have been unmasking ghosts, and they've been actual people. They haven't really been real ghosts. And this is why I like this plot, because it makes sense, And so, obviously, the gang themselves broke up for that particular reason. They just kept unmasking these fake ghosts, and nothing real has come out of it. And so, Daphne wants to get the gang back together and find a real ghost, no tricks, no gimmicks, no meddling kids, that whole spiel, a real ghost. And that's part of the plot that I like. It was something different. They're tired with the same old, same old. They want to do something different. So, Fred, who is obviously her husband now, loads up the gang, and they go to this spooky haunted house where they try to find the mystery of a spirit that's invading that haunted house area. That's basically it. On the way, they made a couple of friends who turned out to be... Oh, wait, I'm not going to spoil it. But they meet some people at the house that eventually try to help them along their quest, as well as this gardener who also tries to help them along the quest. And that's basically it, you know. They're looking for ghosts and zombies on Zombie Island in a haunted castle. That's it. My personal thoughts and opinions about the movie. The animation is great. I love the animation. This was around the time that Warner Brothers developed Warner Brothers Animation. Before this time, you know, stuff like Scooby Doo and Dexter's Lab, all of this was still done by Hanna-Barbera. But in the late 90s, Warner kind of broke off from the whole Hanna-Barbera thing. They still owned Hanna-Barbera and their characters and shows, but Warner Brothers developed their own animation studio. So this movie was one of the first movies that Warner Brothers Animation created, and the animation is beautiful. It was done in Japan, and so it looks good. It really does look good. It's darker. It's not so bright and poppy. Like a good example of the bright and poppy animation that they use is in like What's New Scooby Doo, or even the new Scooby Doo series that I don't watch called Be Cool Scooby Doo. That's nice. That's bright and poppy, and I don't like that kind of animation. I like the dark shades, you know, the cell stuff, and that's what this is. It's beautiful. All the characters look beautiful. The monsters even look beautiful. Beautiful monsters. I mean, what more can you ask for? The animation is great. The storyline is great. Like I said, it makes sense. You know, it's not one of those stories that they came up with 2 minutes after production, like, oh, let's just throw something together. Blah, blah, blah. No, they actually, it makes sense. You know, it goes along with the whole, you know, Scooby-Doo franchise. Like, they've been hunting monsters, and they've just been unmasking people for about, 40 years. And it's time for something different, and you can see that, and it makes sense. This is one of the Scooby-Doo movies that has a darker tone to it. At least that's what it says in my summary, but, you still got those lighthearted moments with Scooby and Shaggy. Obviously, Scooby and Shaggy were basically the comic relief duo for Scooby-Doo, period. The rest of the gang really didn't do much but Scooby and Shaggy. And obviously, they have funny moments, because they like to eat. And they're in New Orleans, so Scooby and Shaggy try some spicy peppers and all this Cajun cooking that they start to love. And, they're basically the two comedy duo in this movie. There's not really much comedy after that. Besides the Scooby and Shaggy moments, the rest is just, classic Scooby-Doo. Mystery solving, trying to look for monsters, things like that. It's great. Plot makes sense. It's not confusing. The soundtrack. There were many original songs that were released in this movie, and obviously, if you go down the Scooby-Doo direct-to-video movie timeline, there have been many original songs in those Scooby-Doo movies. This movie is no exception. This has 2 songs that I just love. I mean, Terror Time Again, and then there's another song, and then you got the Scooby-Doo theme song that's performed at the beginning by Third Eye Blind. Didn't know that, but I know now. How great is that? But the soundtrack is great. Obviously, late 90s Scooby-Doo movies, early 2000s Scooby-Doo movies, all the soundtracks are pretty good. And I personally just enjoyed the movie. It's a darker side of Scooby-Doo. When they advertised this movie on Cartoon Network, when you saw that promo that I put at the beginning, they advertised it as the monsters are real. And this time they really were. And that's what they were kind of going for when they made this movie. They really didn't want just a normal, funny all the time Scooby-Doo. They wanted to get serious with this movie. And they did a perfect job with it because the movie itself was just great. I loved it all the way through. I enjoyed it. It didn't get boring. I used to think Scooby-Doo was boring, but like I said, I kind of grown out of that, and I'm starting to like it again. This movie was the perfect choice to get back into Scooby-Doo. And it's a great movie for you to watch now. So what are you waiting for? Go watch it. It's Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, released by Warner Brothers in 1998. Go check it out. It's a great movie, period. Thank you.